This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion. As we've got positive news, Riley Shan returned to the ice today. That's the big positive, I think, when it comes to all things Edmonton Oilers, especially considering, you know what, he didn't get to partake in that exhibition game, so he gets to come back and get back into the swing of things after missing a few days, and of course, you have your number one penalty killer because he is the top face-off man on the penalty kill, ready to go for playoffs, right? You know, it's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, then we got to get out of bed on Saturday, get things ready, and then all of a sudden it's 1 p.m. and we're talking playoff hockey for the first time. When did the Oilers last play the Ducks? I don't know what the date was. Hold on. Game 7. Let's just go quickly Google that there. Game 7. May 10th, 2017. So, my friends, that is 3 years and 2 months and a half. Lots of days gone, and here we are getting ready for it. So, you know what? That's that side of news. But we have news elsewhere today. Yesterday. I don't know when. As I said, it's been a heck of a hot past week here in southern Alberta, and it was a hot week up in Cold Lake while I was up there. But here we are with some Jesse Puljujarvi news in the middle of the summer, which where normally this would be, you know, big news, big breaking news, and I think to a degree it still is, but it's Jesse Puljujarvi, and we'll determine it by how many views happen on this video. But Jesse Puljujarvi kind of is a cooler topic, like in terms of how important it is, than, say, the hot topic of the playoffs. My side, being cooked by the heat here. Let's get to what Jesse Puljujarvi was saying. I got the TSN article here, so let's just quickly read the TSN article and then I'll break down kind of my thoughts and reaction to it. The Edmonton Oilers restricted free, maybe I should say who wrote this. TSN.ca staff wrote this. Why credit anybody that works for you? Just we have staff. They do things for us. There you go. There's the staff crapping out an article. Hate that. Let me just preach that in my whole view of journalism. Hate the fact that somebody writes an article and they don't get credit for it. That is the sleaziest thing in online journalism. And that aside, let's get into it. Edmonton Oilers restricted free agent forward Jesse Puljujarvi has backed off on his statement that he will never play again for the Oilers and is thinking of potentially returning. We knew this a couple of months ago. Jesse Puljujarvi said never say never, and now it's you can never say no. It's not never say never. You can never say no. So it's not ever going to be an outright no from Jesse Puljujarvi, a year removed from signing with Karpat. So Puljujarvi told that to Finnish outlet Temporary. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the second name. Just go to tsn.ca or Edmonton Journal, wherever this article is available for you. Find it, read the word for yourself. Good luck to me. And you know that anything like that, I'm terrible. I don't even try anymore because it's not worth the 45 seconds of trying to get it right and then doing what I'm doing right now and then explaining it. I've grown and I see things a little differently. There's now a different GM and head coach out there building a winning team in Edmonton. It may be possible that I will still that I will still be playing there. Not want to, that I will still be playing there. Puljujarvi departed the Oilers at the end of the 18-19 season and played this past season with Karpat in Finland's SM Liga. In 56 games with Karpat, Puljujarvi recorded 24 goals and 53 points. You know, my gripe is the shots didn't equal the goals, and then everybody's throwing in these weird stats that shots count as pucks directed towards the net that lift the stick. They could hit the corner. And I mean, I make no sense of it. Guys, have I ever watched an SM Liga game? Maybe once in my life. So, what they do over there, who knows? But if that's the case, then the SM Liga probably has 70 shots a game. Just spitball ideas here, right? In his most recent conference call with Oilers general manager Ken Holland and head coach Dave Tippett, Puljujarvi said it was a good and constructive conference call. However, I will not go into details. The call left a positive overall picture. The fourth overall pick in the 2016 NHL draft by the Oilers, Puljujarvi struggled to carve out a regular spot in the Oilers lineup with multiple stints in the American Hockey League. In his third year with the Oilers, the Finnish forward had 4 goals, 9 points in 46 games. had like things wrong with his hips, but nobody wants to mention that anymore. And in 139 NHL games, the 22-year-old has 17 goals and 37 points. So when it comes to Puljujarvi, ladies and gentlemen, we have beat this topic to death a million times over. However, if this is the true, right, the never say never thing was a softening of the stance, but you can never say no is a lot more of a softening of his stance on the Edmonton Oilers, playing for the Oilers, and finding the next steps in his NHL career. And you kind of see how Ken Holland's done it, right? Ken Holland, really, I don't think ever his game plan is just trade Puljujarvi only option. And that's kind of what a lot of us were hoping for, right? We wanted the assets, we wanted stuff now, build this winning team. But all of a sudden, here you go, you've got a winning team. You've got a playoff team about to, right off the start, like I said, 2 days from now, today being Thursday, 2 days being Saturday at 1 p.m., play the play-in round of the playoffs against the Chicago Blackhawks for a 5-game series. Now, this is something that Ken Holland obviously couldn't bank on, unless Ken Holland Insider bet $3 million on it or something stupid. But, right, you don't sit there as the GM and bank 100%, especially considering the roster we had, amongst fans' point of view anyway. You don't bank on playoffs. You are competing for the playoffs. That was the mantra from the management and coaching staff. Then you had Connor and Leon kind of saying playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. But now you've had this whole shifting of a situation. And the interesting part here is I know a lot of people have mentioned the thing that maybe Jesse Puljujarvi had a falling out with several members of the Oilers over the past few years. But not once in that article or anywhere in those quotes from Jesse Puljujarvi is it mentioned anything to do with players. And now you see that softening of the stance that maybe, just maybe, Jesse Puljujarvi is coming back based on you can never say no. So if the question is, Jesse, do you want to come back? The answer isn't going to be no. That much we now know, right? The answer isn't no, but it not necessarily will be yes. It'll kind of be that maybe, right? It'll be maybe after I figure out this, or maybe if we can come to terms with this, maybe on this, or maybe on that. And that's a lot different of a stance than we've had since this time last year. And that, you know what, I've been very hard on Jesse Puljujarvi, but the words right out of his mouth in those quotes, I've grown. And that's the thing, right? Come to see things a little bit different. And that's what a little bit of age does to you, right? Is I think a lot of us, we're screaming, and I know myself in particular, we're screaming for Jesse Puljujarvi to take accountability for his actions. Because what it seemed is he was a guy that just wanted it his way. His agent was doing whatever his agent felt would get him the most money, get the agent the most money, and all that. And it all seemed to be only about Jesse Puljujarvi. And now you see that he's kind of grown, well, he's saying he's grown a bit and sees things a little bit different. So that little bit of different perspective, I think, is something very welcome in my book to hear that he's said, because, you know what, now you change the angle and suddenly things open up a little bit different, right? Is if Jesse Puljujarvi is willing to put in the work to be a better Jesse Puljujarvi, then the Oilers can put in the work to make him a better player, to use him better, and of course deploy him better. So that's right. If both sides are willing to work based on the best interest of the player, not just only the interest of the player, right? That's kind of the key term, I guess, if I'm going to throw it there. Only interest of the player is only what the player wants, only this way, that way. If not, I'm gone. And that's what we've already seen. Now, if Jesse Puljujarvi is willing to work with himself and work with the Oilers based on what's in his best interest from both points of view, we've got a fire going and we've got something we can work on here. And that's the interesting part here. Now, by any means, do I think this is any good for the Oilers? At this point, guys, we're 2 days away from playoffs. Whatever. I quite honestly could care less, because we're probably still another 4 or 5 months away from the next season starting. Could care less. You know what? Right now, let's go Oilers. Get through this playoff push. And I think the one thing to watch when it comes to the Jesse Puljujarvi watch in the playoffs is just simply how much of this playoff hype does Jesse Puljujarvi get in on. I think that's, if you're going to watch anything for Puljujarvi from here until the first week of October, watch kind of what the hype from Jesse Puljujarvi, if there is any, about the Edmonton Oilers and their playoff run. Maybe it's a little bit of what we've been crying for Connor is what Jesse Puljujarvi wanted to see for himself, right? Is a winning team. And you can't say, if you're crying about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl not being on a winning team the past 2 years, Jesse Puljujarvi a top 4 pick as well. Take or leave what you think about him. You know what? Still, a kid that was brought here because he can change the tempo and, of course, be part of a winning team, and then rushed in to be part of a winning team. Now, you know what? He suffered through. So now, it's really interesting to see where this goes from here, because this just seems the Oilers keep going in a positive direction with him, and he keeps softening his stance. Ladies and gentlemen, around and around we go. Who knows where we're landing, but it seems to be trending to more of a reunion than a trade route. And that's, you know what, end of the day, like I said, I've made my points why that's not a bad thing. So, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.